Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders. Thanks to Sportsbet, I'm Roy. I coach Destroy, and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the Warn Dogs.
And Calvin.
Coach of Calvinator.
Boys, we made it.
We got
We're out of the buys.
We got through it.
Yes.
Interesting little period, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
It's been a big stint because it was 5 weeks, the most we've ever had. And then look at the whole season too, because we had 3 bye rounds earlier in the year.
Yep.
4 if you include opening rounds. So it's been a lot of buys.
Right, so just pretend you are opening your laptop, you're looking at your team. Give me a one-word description. So your post-buy team, because all the talk was let's come out of it with a better team, full of premiums, yada, yada, yada. Have a look at it. No, I'll allow a few more words, actually. Just give me a quick summary of your team when you open it up and look at it.
Completed, but with a bunch of frauds.
Yeah, very fair. You?
Underperforming.
Yeah.
Performing?
Don't know.
Performing.
Same thing. Yeah.
Every time.
It does feel a bit like that, though, doesn't it?
It does.
It's just a bit, meh. What have I done?
I pick people because they're good.
I had all those trades.
Yes.
What did I do with them?
Don't know.
How have I got so many average dudes still
I know my
there?
biggest thing is that, we'll talk about our scores, is that these guys that have just come off this buy are some of the best players in the comp.
They are.
And I don't have many of them.
Yeah.
At all.
We
So that's
traded them
gonna hurt.
out
Yes. We're getting rid of them.
due to the buy.
Yep. Anyway, here we are. Let's go. It was round 16, and the scores. Who was the high? Oh, it was me, the highest there. 1928.
Oh, wow.
The Warn Dogs ended up with, which helped me move up 1,700 spots, which got me 233rd for the week. So a pretty good score, really. 233rd.
A good round.
You're
to have
coming good.
Yeah. Once again, a good round to have a bad
Roy
team.
had a good week.
I think that's fair comment. I have got a bad team.
Yeah.
I think it's bad.
You're up to you were 447th for the week, but you're up to 202.
202, that's all right.
Hit the button, dog.
Don't go anywhere near it.
Because it's happening. It's happening, Roy. We're high. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Come on, Roy.
Right, we know how.
I'm the jockey.
Put the mockers
get
on
on
this.
your back.
No,
Whip you home.
I'm taking the song on this year.
Yes.
I'm
Good.
taking it on. So, 1914, I didn't realise it didn't feel like it was a 447th type week.
Yeah,
but
you did well.
I'll take that. And 202, that's
Up.
in the mix.
Port Adelaide's favourite number, 119 spots for the week.
Oh,
So well done.
cool.
And then we've got Kel.
And we've got the rabble.
But you went up.
Yeah, which is amazing. So I went up 100 spots.
Did
Incredible. Yeah, so
with your 1865.
at 4 is my rank.
Yeah.
Roy, it's double chew.
So this is what it tells me. Not everyone traded out those primos on the buy.
No.
They took it on a little bit.
They have.
And I think it was probably the way to go
I think it was.
because we had primos that we got in scoring like rookies anyway.
Proper players.
Yeah.
Here it is! That's what you did, Ginny. You stuck it right up them.
Okay, I'm going to give my award to Brodie Grundy.
Oh, my goodness.
Copier.
137
You're
he scored.
welcome.
He was amazing. He's in that much form. So
is
he's
he?
now scored me actually 258 points. No, it's more than that because I made him vice captain the week before.
So is there anything you want to say to us?
No, well, thank you. For,
You're welcome. You're welcome, dog.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, that's it.
We do a podcast about it.
We do.
Giving good tips.
Finally, dog listening.
Yes. Well, you should thank me for telling you to move on, Brodie. To move on, Max Gawn, to bring him in.
Thank you.
It's not about you, though, dog.
No, let's make it about you, Cal.
I'll give my +3 to, yes, because Nick Dacos, as my number one,
Yeah.
highest scorer for the week.
Well done.
The
Equal.
Pirate. No, highest scorer for the week. Oh, Brodie Grundy coming in at number 4 on my list. 137, 34 touches,
Yeah.
10 sneaky little marks.
Yeah. He was very good.
Very good.
So mine is Colby.
He was good.
Because he has been getting it done week after week. Now he cracked the ton this week with 103. Just another lazy 34
He does it,
possessions,
doesn't he?
if you don't mind. So Colby.
It was the most disgraceful display I've ever seen.
Because it's just not acceptable.
100. Yes, I just kept going and going, like Chera did to get himself over $1 million. 5 tons. Well, 59. 59. He actually has been playing that well that he got to $1 million. He got attention from the opposition. No marks. That equals
That hurts.
a bit of a tag. So that was really bad. 59. A lot of people are trading out. I think we can hold, but he still gets a -3.
I'll give mine. Oh, here we go. This is the story of my year.
Yes.
You need players like Matt Kennedy in your forward line.
Yeah.
He drops an 86, which isn't a disaster, but that's the lowest score in the last 13 rounds for him in the week where I get him.
Imagine if you did that 100 thing that I did with Chera with him.
I'd still be doing it.
It'd be going on and on and on.
We pay up for these
Yes.
guys. Well, I pay up for
You
these
do.
guys, dog.
You do.
And they just slap me in the face.
And we
Yes.
try to tell you every single year, Cal.
Roy ticked this
Go
one
for the
off, though.
value.
He ticked it off.
I ticked it
He
off.
did.
I did.
Give you that tip, though. Value doesn't always work. I bought in 2 blokes that I thought were great value. Got to sit down on Friday night. Thought, let's watch some football.
Yeah.
Callum Mills, 67.
Oh.
Thanks, mate.
That was bad.
An upgrade to go, let's go D6. You know, I could have just ended up with McCarthy there.
Yeah.
Playing that out, but I thought, nah, let's get the proper player.
Proper player.
Yeah.
Let's not
Yep,
get a
let's get a proper
bloke-
player.
The bloke that wasn't even on the list 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Instead of playing in there. No, so Callum Mills, 67. You buy that guy, doesn't count in my 18.
Unbelievable.
The other bloke that I bought did count in my 18, was my 18th man, Bont,
Oh.
Bond.
72. Upgrades, they're upgrades.
He'll do this to you, dog.
Man, oh man, that was a terrible thing because that didn't stop other blokes getting amongst it. There were only 6 quarter-pounders on the weekend. 4 of those came in that Swans and Dogs game.
Really?
3 of them were in one of the quarters. In the third quarter, Errol, 57. Heaney, 55. Bramble, 56. Bramble.
Who?
And Jake Lloyd had 52 in the last quarter.
Well, there you
incredible.
go. Well, feasting.
So there should be more horrific turf
There should be.
out there.
Oh, yeah.
Play it on
It's
anything.
terrible.
That's it.
Play it at Queenstown. Get heaps of quarter
Yeah, so
pounders.
4 out of the 6 quarter-pounders.
That's
On the
amazing.
weekend. Milksham had a 54 against the Suns. And
Milkshake, if he had a kick straight,
It would have been a ton.
it would have been massive.
the other one was Miles Bergman, too, in the third quarter against the Blues. The hapless Blues, Roy. He dominated when people matched his score from last week
Yeah.
pretty much in a quarter.
He did.
But people did
Brutal.
trade. All right, we are through the buys. We've got through them. And I thought we'd do our stock take that we normally do.
prefer
What did we
not.
do? Roy was easily the best of us. You racked up 9,561 points. You moved from 279 to 202. So you moved up 77 spots. But what you probably did during it,
Tip, I
though,
guess.
was went backwards.
Potentially.
And then came.
Yeah, I did.
Home.
You were spot on.
Went backwards to go forward.
I did.
I've heard that before.
I went back to Tom Stewart, and now we're launching up the other side.
Calvin, you dropped from 166th
Oh, dear.
down to your 444. So down 278 spots there for that.
Look, how?
Yeah, I know.
How above
9,373. You outscored me, as you should, by 104 points.
That's
I
a
had
smacking.
9,269. So I went from 3,300 to 3,900.
Interesting,
so I
though.
went down 563 spots, basically.
So you wore more vests through that period,
Yes,
the dog, though.
correct. Calvin had 3 bets. No, because I
been
just
cold.
had
An
that
absolute stinker.
I had 2 stinkers. 2 stinkers. Round 12, I scored 1,564.
I remember that. I'm
I
still
was 48,000 for the week. Now, I went into that round because I had a lot of players on that bye, so I only played a 19. I got to drop off my Mateus Philippou too, but I wore the Riley Pice 9, Johnson 34, Boxall 30.
What was he thinking?
Now,
doing
now listen,
A week
How
where
did you roll
all the bad
with all
stuff
them?
happened.
if you think that's a
There's
stinker,
not one good name amongst them, though. What were you?
No, but like you just think everyone else is getting players to step up for him in these other weeks.
dog, if you think that's a stinker,
You're
mate,
about as inspiring as
You-
Bossy for the boys at the
you
moment.
should have smelt what he dropped in here before. If you
Who?
think that's a stinker.
Who
Roy.
dropped? Roy.
How could you
Before
say
you got
that?
out.
Stop lying. Don't turn this into potty humour, Calvin.
Exactly.
It was bad.
And there was nothing funny about it, I can tell you. And visit the doctor as soon as we finish here today.
Anyway, so that was our buy round stock take. I think at the end of the day, Calvin was
failed.
the worst because you had 3 green vests.
You
That's all we care
went
about.
down near 600 spots.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
How can we sit here and
Off the
preach
back of-
what you have to do over the buys when you guys are sliding
I
like
know.
that?
But this is where I respond. I've been waiting for this.
Sick of holding it together
Yep.
every year. Me. All
You.
on me.
You're a gun. The cash cow of the year. The votes for this week, that was round 16. 5 votes go to Daniel Curtin. He scored 118.
He was awesome.
Nice.
He was very good. So that's his first ever fantasy ton. Nice way to do that. And he's been in some good form.
He has.
Hasn't dipped below 70 for 5 games. So
Very
I know
good turnaround.
One of our mates, Matty Ash, liked him. I
Yeah.
don't know if he did it, but
Hope he did.
26 disposals, 8 marks, and a couple of goals for that. Tom McCarthy.
The
Mate,
Messiah.
give me a D6. 95 he
you?
scored.
Yep.
So, defender mid, a mid-season draftee, and he's going up. Bulk coin too, because he scored a ton on debut, as we know. And, yeah, he's been the most traded in player over the last 2 weeks, including when he was on his bye. So, we all need to have him. 27 touches, 5 marks there. Great. Another West Coast player got the 3 votes, and that is Jack Hutchinson, scored 89. So, career high fantasy score for him. 17 uncontested possessions. We like a bit of uncontested football in fantasy
Love it.
football. It's great. Max Hall. No one would probably have him anymore.
I don't think so.
Actually, I think the traders team still does.
Go us.
He scored 88. So 23 touches, 6 tackles, 2 marks and a goal. That was his best game that he's had. But you sort of almost forget like how good he has been this year too and why we love the mature age players, 23-year-old that he is. Clay Hall, so he scored 79, gets the 1 vote. He was in the waffle where he was averaging 115, comes back in, wore a vest, and then got a start. And that was sort of a good score for him because he did get a fair bit of midfield time in that as well. So that's the thing. A leaderboard doesn't change. So you've still got Ashcroft at the top, Zach Reed, Riley By, Sam Davidson on the 17 votes. So they are 7 votes behind old Levi at the moment.
Here's the news of the week you need to know on the official AFL Fantasy podcast.
All right, a few things out of the weekend. We've got Adam Sard concussion there, so he will miss this week. We'll see who comes in, what that might mean, what they do. Carlton have to throw on the magnets around anyway.
I'll tell you what it will mean. Doc off the wing, back to half-back.
Okay. We need that then.
We do.
Tom McCartan, he was laid out with illness, so that had Twitter a buzz of making the trade. Let's bring in Sam Darcy, and 6.2k traded him in. So a lot of people did that.
Dog tried to get us to
I
do
know
it
he did.
on the
I
group
wish
chat.
I did.
Boys, let's do it. Let's do it.
Well, he was great.
He was good.
So he was coming off 115, 114. That's off his injury. And then he had 46 at the half after kicking 3 goals. Looked very good. Only had 10 points after, so only finished on 56 points. But, yeah, that's Sam Darcy. That's what you get. Tom Papley, bit of calf tightness for him. Jeez, he's
I love watching him.
It's so good to watch.
So good.
Dane Rampy, he was iced up when he got subbed out, so one to watch, I guess, to see what happens there. Blake Howes and Harrison Petty for the Ds ended up with concussion. George Wardlaw was concussed down here in the Lonnie as well.
Yeah.
He goes hard at it. So Will Phillips might be the one to watch there to come in. He was a travelling emergency, 113 he's going at in the VFL. So
Always done that.
his numbers, yep. So if he's sitting on your, you need that midfielder in draft, which is almost where we need them too in
it is.
draft this year.
Yeah.
So at the end of the game, the shoulder that he hurt went for precautionary scans, but sounds like they're hopeful. They think he's right, but geez. Jeez.
Thursday night footy, dog.
That was hard to watch. He was a hard watch. I was here on that, and it was cold. It was cold. It was cold.
Just ask the boundary riders. They've never
Oh,
been
yeah.
anywhere colder. Ever.
Just cold. But Shees didn't get warm either because he didn't really leave the Ford 50 for a lot of it.
Didn't he?
Getting a bit frustrated sitting there.
You would have
watching
been
it.
too.
I was,
You would have been grumpy.
Yeah.
I was. Yeah.
Nothing worse than watching the footy with Dog out here when
Yes.
his players are going bad.
Yep.
Well, there's
It is
nothing
good.
better, to be honest.
That's correct.
Unless you want a conversation.
I was there. No, I was having actually nice conversation. I caught up with a mate. It was nice. It was nice actually to go to the football without you blokes. To go with
I never get invited.
someone that
Well,
was
that's true.
a nice g'day Broden. He was a good dude. We had a national pie. That was good. Hadn't had one before and thought these are good pies.
He hadn't had a national pie.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And he only had a Banjo's pie. He went on a pie tour of Tasmania.
Oh, yeah?
Banjo's pies. They're underrated.
Banjo's pies.
Yeah,
they're
probably
great.
the greatest
They are
pies.
good.
If you ever
And do you
come to
know
Tassie-
what? They don't make them too hot. You can
Yeah.
go bang straight into them.
It's the
Challenge.
pastry that worked. Oh, cow.
Oh,
Cow
you,
eating a pie.
you'd still want to give it a
I've got a sensitive mouth.
little bit of time to sit.
Luke McDonald also hurt his shoulder in that game. Now, McKelty Lafau, he hurt his calf.
Poor bugger.
Now, what about Tom Lynch?
Oh, Tom.
Oh, dear.
Tom lost the plot.
He
He
lost
lost,
the plot.
it.
He did lose the plot.
As-
-15 he was on.
It was ridiculous.
You don't have the plot
No.
and
You
be
never
on
had it.
-15, do you?
Yep.
Yep, so that stat there, Jaden pulled that out as well. So at halftime, that -15 is the lowest ever from 2014 anyway onwards, where Jaden could pull his stats back to. -15, Jack Darling had a -9 earlier this year, actually, in round 4, 2025.
Now,
So-
we often joke and say we could go out there and score that.
Yep.
But with that,
Yep.
I reckon
You would beat that
We
because Cow would be too scared of the ball.
Yeah, would
to
be.
go in the
Terrified.
air to actually give away any free kicks.
so you couldn't get off the mark or under the
And
mark.
it's good.
I just
Finish with a
saying.
0, yeah.
If I did get a kick, like you don't get a free kick against for out on the full, so that'd be positive.
You'd get a
So-
toe poke, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Some of those
Definitely.
ones,
Yeah.
though. Oh,
Yeah,
geez,
you'd get a
Champion Data have got
+9.
to lift a little bit on some of those, though. A toe poke, there's a toe poke and there's a toe poke. Some toe pokes count, some don't.
Yeah,
What
I
do you-
know.
They've got to
There's
go
no-
with a bit
stir it
of
up,
force.
dog.
It's
Don't
about as
stir it up.
consistent as the tackle.
It is funny, though, because like some of my toe pokes wouldn't have counted in games if for a stat.
Because
But it counts as a goal when it
far
goes
enough.
through.
Yeah, so how'd it get there?
Yeah.
Now, do you know one thing? No, all you would actually, you could get a -3 because all you'd have to do at the bounce is start next to Nick Dacos, give him a tiny little hand on the chest or something.
Oh, what are you saying, Roy?
I'm just saying that it'd be a -3. You could do that.
Would it? Was there something wrong with that? What are you trying to do? You're trying to stitch up someone here, aren't you?
I'm not. Play on. Is there anyone else got hurt?
Do we want to talk that?
I think we should.
Do you reckon?
Yes.
No, don't do it.
No,
I
we'll-
was just being silly.
You were being a bit rude to
Yeah.
Drewy the other day.
Me?
Yes.
No, I wasn't. I love Drew.
You do pick on him.
Drew
I
Jones
do
actually-
not. Don't you start stitching me up with that. I'm Drew's biggest fan in this room.
You didn't even know who he was. You thought he was the footy rhino.
Did not. God, you guys suck.
Cow thinks he's Rhino and Mitch Cleary. so
I'm still
that's-
confused who he is.
But yeah, no. Drew went to the presser the other day.
Yes.
And was
It
trying
was
to
funny.
ask Ross what was going on there. We've said, Cow, you're rattled.
Yeah.
Drew was rattled.
Ross, will Marcus use the same tactics used against Nick on, say, Caleb? or
Just to be
Wayne?
clear, what are the tactics? I don't quite understand.
Well, like his tight checking, tagging tactics.
I'm no sorry for going out and competing.
I'm not
I thought
looking
you were
for
allowed
equality. I'm
I thought
looking-
you were allowed to compete though. I never knew playing on someone was a tactic.
well, it's
Manning
the,
up and
the,
stopping.
the manner of the way that he's doing it. I'm just
What's
interested
that?
to know- I'm
Mate.
interested to know if he'll keep doing it.
Since Adam was a boy, right? People have played and the great midfielders get some tighter attention. That's just the way it is.
Oh, rattled.
No, Drew did
Ross-
the right thing. Drew was good.
I love
Ross
how
is
Drew
just-
asks those questions.
Ross gets that glare in his eye. It's a half smirky, but that's rattled right there, Drew. Now, last week we gave Drew we went early. Have we gone too early on the
Yeah.
Journo of the Year? Can we take it back off him?
No, you don't
No,
give
that was
away
good,
one
Journo,
free
of the year.
kick and lose your Brownlow.
Well, that's true.
do you?
No,
Yeah.
Drew was good.
Far out he was.
My favourite reply there, though, I'm not asking for an apology.
Oh, that was good. That was a lead.
Drew went
in
head to
there.
head.
That
Get
was
him in
a
the
lead.
ring.
Yeah. So next time we need Drew on his game next time he talks to Ross.
I think you just have to, because Ross doesn't let you reply.
No, he's mean.
So you got to not let Ross reply.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
needs to be an ongoing thing,
This
and I
is
think
a-
Drew's got it in
Yeah.
him.
You got to out-bully the
Let's
bully.
see what.
Yeah,
Let's see
on,
what
Drew.
Drew can bring to us this week.
I'm excited for
Same.
him.
He'd be nervous.
No, he wouldn't.
Nah.
Oh, you
He'd be
reckon?
ready to go, I
Just
reckon.
because you're rattled doesn't mean Drew would get rattled.
That sounded a little bit. Is that what I sound like?
What's that? What?
You've got a bit more Ross Lyon about you than anything, mate. So anyway, Tom Lynch, that negative 15, he did actually get some points after that, but he'll be out because of that punch.
A few weeks for that.
Now, Nat Fife didn't get on the ground, unused sub, but you know why they didn't use him? Calf awareness at half time.
Did you hear that?
No.
Calf awareness at half time.
That's not good.
The vest
That's an old man injury.
was
that is.
injured. No. What
Speaking
is
of
that all
sub,
about?
there was a few brutal subs this week that would have affected a few coaches there, starting with Jason Horn-Francis on Thursday night.
Have Moisey.
Still playing a fair bit forward as well. So he scored 37 and subbed out. People got on. We're all looking at him because he's getting cheap.
Yeah. Well, he's
Ouch.
getting real cheap now.
Bailey Humphrey, he kept playing on after hurting his shoulder, but he was subbed out, and I know that he's a bit of a talk of draft
Yes,
as well. He's
he
been
is.
good getting midfield clock. Dylan Moore was big, so over 3,000 coaches brought him in this week.
Yeah, good value pick, I
Yeah,
thought.
so he had 74, dominating.
He was
he's
killing
on
it.
track for a big ton
Yeah.
in his 59% time on ground in the end, but yeah, he was subbed out. Ouch.
It's probably worth having a look at now.
Definitely.
Had
The
his
fourth
rest.
most traded player in was Charlie West.
Yep.
You got to expect this from
Yeah,
a
you do.
rookie.
You do.
But so almost 10,000 coaches brought him in. So
They didn't
was
bring
subbed
him
out.
in expecting a score, though.
even Josh Rochelle, he's a draft guy. I know he's in a couple of my teams because
Well,
I just get attracted to
Thought
that
there
name.
must be some reason you wrote him down.
That's right. A couple of Magoo's news, as this is probably becoming a little more irrelevant to us because we're not hitting too many guys that are coming in through, but Bus, we better look at him.
Yeah, definitely.
23 disposals, 6 marks, 4 tackles, 97. Now, apparently Liam Jones is available now. They might need to be doing something, the Dogs there. The Box, he got dropped out of 130. He can rack up.
He can.
He's in your VFL fantasy team, that's
He
for
is.
sure. Now, the other Campo,
Yep.
the Ben version, he's been all right, 109 on the weekend, and the Blues will make some changes, surely.
Oh,
Do they?
surely.
He's averaging 97 the last 4 in the VFL, so he might be one to watch there.
Play the kids.
Have you got an alibi for Friday morning at Icon Park out at Prince's Park, spray painting the walls?
Yeah, no, but I might have put the keep Vossi.
Oh.
Might as well keep him. Can't just keep rolling through.
Get rid of Lordo,
Yeah.
Austin.
Yep. See ya.
See ya. Lockie Cowan, so he may come in now. He could be
Cash
an
Cowan.
in for
Oh, yeah.
Facade.
Yeah.
So
Cash
25
Cowan's good
disposals,
enough to be in there.
104. Lukosius was back as well in the Sandful. So 2 goals, 12 marks, 102. I reckon
Nice.
that they will probably do that.
I reckon.
They'll get him back in there. Anything for Tag Watch Cow? Is it even worth me pressing the button?
It's always worth pressing the button, dog.
Tag watch,
Just
tag
because
watch.
of the song.
What have you got for us?
Dacos probably gets a little bit of a hit this week. He got one against Carlton. Already this year it was Huey.
Yeah.
Huey went to him, held him to a 76, but that might be a bit of chincotta
Possibly.
action.
Which might be more than being hassled by the Hoff destroy.
Oh, yeah, it'd be
'Cause
far more
he-
difficult outing.
Fair, didn't really worry him too
No,
much.
at all.
No. James Jordan probably gets to Sarong. We would think that would be an option. Would we not?
Yes.
Yep.
That would be an option.
Bedford could
So
probably
Wrong
have
had a low score too, and
Yeah.
didn't really cop.
He didn't cop a
Windy.
lot, no.
No, it was Garcia
Yeah.
who plays defensively, but it's a matchup, right? Like that's what they do. But
do.
he is more defensive minded, but
He
he's
is.
still racked up on the flip side.
But other than that, there's not a lot of tag watching to be watched.
No, good. That's what
Just
we
the Nick
want.
Dacos one.
All right, so we're out of the buys. They're done. What we talk about these completed teams
Yes.
as such.
Yeah.
And where we're at, but nothing's complete unless it is, of course, the the Rollin 22. Destroys Rollin 22.
Double R.
Yeah.
Yeah. That needs a new intro with a sound effect, I think.
That's good. I don't know. That's
No, well.
I mean, that's good, but it sort of needs a
yeah, it does.
at the end of it. Anyway.
I muted myself.
Oh, thank
Oh,
goodness.
probably a good
Keep it there.
blessing.
It was
The
great.
Rollin 22, just to explain it, is Roy's unbelievably accurate best 22 players.
Yep.
It's called Rollin because it changes based on things. Sometimes he's looking back, sometimes he's looking forward. The computer doesn't know sometimes.
It doesn't change reaction anymore.
Okay.
It used to. I've tightened that criteria.
Okay.
So, Rollin 22, this is what you should have.
Yep, this is what we're aiming for. In the back line, we want Nasiah, Rosie, Holmesy, Zorko, Whitfield, and Ash.
Oh, the
Now-
double.
How did you just limit it to 6?
Oh, it was difficult because there was a lot knocking on the door, and there's a lot of form players down there, which means they can and do at times leak into the midfield.
Yes.
Not at the moment, but it can happen. There's people like Clark, Dacos, and when Sinclair used to be good.
Geez, Clark's form's good.
He's been
He's probably
really
unlucky, isn't he?
He's unlucky. So's Dacos. So he's had 2 ceiling scores in his last 2, Clarkey,
Yep.
and he's no stranger to the Rollin 22. He's been there a number of times over the years.
And if you wanted to cherry pick more stats, 3 in the last 4 of those ceiling, 120 plus.
There
That's
you go.
Huge, isn't it?
Yep. No, he's very good. Now, if you had that back 6, you would be sleeping like a baby every night because it's very good. Now,
So Callum
ironically...
Mills isn't there in my completed team.
Oh, mate. He's so far from the blanket, it's not funny. Now, the midfield...
Good luck.
Comes with more
Yeah.
difficulty
Unbelievable.
than
Is this
it has
the hardest
historically.
line?
Without a doubt.
To even get your 8, let alone put them in an order.
Yep, it's shocking. And I've just realised I have actually got to tweak it on the fly
On the
here.
fly.
Which isn't. It's far from
Does
ideal.
the computer help you with that?
The
system?
It does, but I have to do a quick refresh, but that'll be fine.
The formulas.
Now, this usually just rolls out. You got Dacos, Bond,
Yep.
Merritt, these big
Dunkley,
dogs that
yep.
just force their way in there, Dunks and
Yep.
that. But it's not like that. The system, the first couple of times I did it this week, come back as an error in the midfield.
Is that correct,
Because
Troy?
it's just blowing its computer mind.
error.
Now, this is how we eventually got there. I had to tweak a couple of criteria, but we got there in the end. So, Dacos, Dawson, Brayshaw.
Solid.
See, all solid.
Yep.
But they're all guys that you should be able to put a C on your top 3 midfielders any given week and be comfortable with it. But that's not the case with those 3 at the moment. Then we've got Caldwell, Goulden.
Ooh, 2 big boys in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Goulden in with a rocket.
Yeah, he is. Anderson, Bont, and then Green. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, that's
Wow,
it.
Bont's in there.
He is.
Gosh.
Yeah, I know. It's disgusting, but
There's a lot of guys there that
and
haven't
projection
have
has
done a lot of things that frustrate you.
Yeah, for sure. Now that leaves
Even Ando. Like he
no,
had to come home strong.
Yeah, and he can disappoint on any given week, that bloke. I wouldn't recommend buying into him, for example. Now, that leaves some big names out. So, Merritt is currently out. Dunkley, huge. McCluggage,
Yep.
he's having a good
Oh,
season.
yeah.
He is out. So, there's big names out there. And Bond, I tell you what, this is his last chance this week.
Right.
It's purely reputation that's keeping him in there.
His magnet keeps sliding down that
It does.
double R22
Yeah.
board.
If it was trust the eye test, Bond would not be in there
Yep.
at the minute. Then we move into the rucks,
Thanks
which
for your milestone game, thanks, Bond.
I know. Now this came with a bit of controversy because
The
there's
rucks.
someone that remains at number 1 who, when they first went there a couple of weeks ago, people were questioning my ability to press the enter button and get these numbers rolling.
Yes.
And might have thought that you were just trying to manifest it a little bit.
Yes, you accused me of
Yes, you
manifesting
did.
Because
things.
you try to trade into something and you go, oh.
Convince myself it's the right thing to do. But luckily, I bring everyone with me.
Well,
I
that's
tell
it.
you what I'm doing, and I tell you why I'm doing it. Brodie Grundy,
Yes.
the ruck pig. He is back. Now, this is on the back of, earlier this year, people calling for an unprecedented de-snouting. One, we never de-snout.
No.
And 2,
Only the
are
journo
you
of the year.
watching? Oh, that was just a -3. Are you watching what this guy is doing? This is why he originally got the snout. He's a guy who's averaged 120 twice. Not just had a little run of 120, he averaged it for a season. And he is on fire at the moment. Bucks even said he had the most dominant quarter he's ever seen from a ruckman against the Dogs on the weekend. Most dominant.
Yep. It's crazy. What he's done, he hasn't gone below 111 for 7 weeks.
No, he's averaging 130
Show
over
me
5.
a midfielder that can do this.
Yeah, no, they
You
can't. So Grundy is just back to his absolute best,
Yeah.
and he's number 1. Now, number 2, I'm
Right,
whipping
where
the
is it?
blanket out.
Oh,
I'm throwing a blanket.
It's a blanket.
It's massive. So these guys are dominating at the moment. Max is going to remain number 2 for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously the runs are on the board this year. A little bit disappointing on the weekend against the toughest matchup there is.
89. But coming off the back of 126, 122, 107, 140, 117, 113,
Yes.
138, 120. Yep,
So
I
no
can keep
one's
going.
questioning his awesomeness. Some would probably say still deserves number 1, but incorrect.
Can't believe you blokes traded him out.
I know. Like, that is a
Those
tactical
numbers.
manoeuvre.
Elite fantasy work.
We'll see. So that leaves under the blanket X-Man,
Okay.
who based on his form recently
Hasn't
shouldn't
been
even
great.
have his toes under it.
0 tons in his last 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then we've got English, who came into last week in sensational form.
He's very good.
But that was a tough matchup.
It was.
And it showed.
Yep.
And he started limping around and stuff like that. But he's definitely deserving of being under the blanket. Marshall had a massive first half.
Yep.
Still scored well and will finish well. He's under the blanket. And DC's under the blanket as well.
He's good.
He's
So if
very
you had
good.
any of these guys, and this is probably part of the strategy and trading that we'll talk about later, you're not moving on anyone,
Nah.
though, are you? Like, you're not
You're happy enough.
changing one to another
No.
in anything that you're doing.
No. On any given week, any of those can outscore the others,
Yep.
especially because there's a couple of anomaly matchups at the moment where even guys out of the blanket are going to be able to step up for a ceiling score given the weak opposition.
And this might even be one of the reasons why Max is staying there at 2, is that he's got a couple of hard ones,
Yes.
but then it opens up
It
a bit
does.
for him.
It does. Yep. Okay, into the forward line.
Right.
It's kind of been a little bit exciting, the forward line, because the drop-off in talent is significant. And then there's form of guys who we think or thought were talented that aren't getting it done. So this is the way it is at the moment. We've got Smith, Martin, who has 2 ridiculous games coming up, which he'll take full advantage of. Then we've got Kennedy, Myers, Jackson, and Petraka.
Okay.
So
Who was good on the weekend?
he was.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So gave him his bye reset.
Yeah.
And then he came out. Disposal wasn't awesome, but he was getting his hands on the pill, which is a good sign moving forward. So, Dog, that leaves out a few of your...
Oh, well, that shows where my
forwards.
team is, though, because I've got 3. I've only got 3 of those. So I've got a Warner, which is probably not even a blanket worthy.
But, well, he is, such as the drop-off.
Caleb Daniel,
Yeah, like blanket. worthy.
Isaac Hardwatch Rankin.
Yeah, blanket. They're all under a blanket, but
Rankin was on
none
track,
of them.
though. He was good at half time.
Yeah, and then
That's
what
why he's a hard
did he
watch.
turn into? Hard watch guy again. In a matchup where it should be impossible to be a hard watch. That's
Yes.
the worry with him. So those guys are under the blanket, but they're really not knocking on the door of pushing any of those guys out.
That's a good 22.
It's a great 22.
Oh, you'd be happy with it, wouldn't you?
Wouldn't you?
So I
Although
guess-
the midfield, you could still find improvements to that.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Part of that, and this is what it tweaks to, and this is where the computer system's got to get it right. It is obviously about the best for the rest of the year, like trying
Yes.
to get those guys, and this is where the scale of hardness comes in, Cal,
Oh, doesn't it ever?
of who you're trying to work
They
out.
go
to get.
hand in hand.
Because, like, who are some of those players or the teams on the scale of hardness that you like
All right.
moving forward?
We need to talk about it because it's the Essendon boys, so you definitely need your Nick Martin.
These next 2 games.
Yes.
What do they got?
It is Gold Coast, Richmond.
Yep.
So Gold Coast are the number 1 or number 2 easiest team for midfielders to score against.
It's
So
that Marvel too, isn't it?
it is.
Oh, goodness.
And then into Richmond where Merritt when he's won 50 and Martin when he's won 66
yeah.
or whatever it was.
They could do 150 each again.
But could you or
No.
would you, Dom,
No.
buy
No.
back into Merritt with this run that's coming up, knowing that this guy has
This
not...
is the thing.
I know.
There are 2 types of
There's-
fantasy coaches here. There's us,
yeah.
that lived through that.
You
then
and
there's
me, yep.
Roy
Yep.
that's looking at 920 for Zach Merritt, he says. For Zach Merritt.
with
I
2
know.
great games coming up.
I can't help but think like that.
know.
I haven't suffered like you two have suffered.
Well, that's it.
So I see a bargain.
So
Yeah.
you get those 2 games, but then you've got issues, and this is why I don't think I could buy into him or go. We've got the pain. This is going back to your ex there, but GWS
Yes.
he's got Bedford.
He's got Bedford. He's
That's
got.
coming. A couple of weeks later, he's got Jordan, possibly.
Then he'll probably get someone from
But
Geelong.
then the Swans have got a couple that could do stuff.
I sort of also feel
But it's
like
also the role. Like, the role is not locked and loaded. Now, I didn't actually mention that in the news, but the Bombers had some more injury setbacks as
They
such,
did.
like Parrish, some calf awareness at training
Parrish
this
has
week.
been wasting over 60-70% of CBAs.
Yes.
If he's out,
Mm,
your boy's back in there, surely.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm
Why,
with you, though.
why
Dog.
don't you want me to get him? Because you want me to succeed or you want me to fail?
Well, I don't want you to go through the pain that we went through. He scored 57, Roy.
I think this is a time of year where
Yeah, you're right.
we can have a 2-week play. If it's
Yeah, well,
someone
we are going to
like
be shuffling.
Zachary
But you do
Merritt,
get stuck with some of these 2-week plays at times.
you definitely do. That's a risk. But when you're stuck with Zach Merritt, surely that's not a disaster.
Well,
Well-
it shouldn't be.
So in round 15, he had 48% CBAs. The week before that, he was back in the middle with 74%.
Yeah, but then the scores still weren't there.
They still weren't there. So, yes, he does cop attention, and he did in that Geelong game. But I just can't do it because of the pain that I have inside. Right?
Yeah,
But you're pain-free.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm
you
feeling good.
Yeah. So would you do it?
I reckon.
You will.
Surely.
Okay.
So Bombers got a nice run. Cats have some good stuff coming as well because they get the Tigers twice, don't they,
They do.
in the run home?
Now, Richmond aren't what they were at the start of the year. So
Yeah.
as far as midfielders go, I believe like they're the 5th or 6th easiest team for midfielders at the moment. So
Okay.
they're not what they used to be.
Right.
So Gold Coast are up there for that. North Melbourne are now the number 1 easiest. So Richmond aren't, but they're still giving up the most hundreds, 120-plus scores. So they're still a team we need to be targeting.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Defenders rip them, don't
defenders seriously dominate them. And that's a guy like your Tom Stewart this week.
they? Oh, he'll have
He should have
15 marks
a
probably.
day
Yeah.
against them.
Could you
So-
buy Tom Stewart?
Well, the scale says yes. Richmond twice
It's cheap.
I
coming
think
home.
I could do, Tom.
You got to
Again,
do what you need to do it this
for the
week
Second time this year.
because they've got the Giants next week. But so Geelong have a great run for the rest of the year for midfielders and defenders.
Yeah.
So do the Giants starting this week against West Coast.
Yeah.
So that's your Whitfield and your Ash.
So will Whitfield be back, most likely, after that concussion, because it's his 12th day that he plays.
Yeah.
So according to the
He's still
scale,
getting cheaper, though, because he's, break even 150 or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
there's 6 hard teams on the scale for defenders to play, and the Giants don't play any of them for the
Right.
rest of the year.
Wow. Ash and Whitfield.
Should be awesome.
Stocks.
Yeah,
You need at
why?
least one,
You do.
if not both. But what do they how do they finish? Isn't it ridiculous how they
finished
that?
with St Kilda in the last game.
Yeah,
and
I think
before
their
that-
last 3 are great.
Yeah, so it's North, Gold Coast, and St Kilda.
For
Which then
fantasy
would
finals.
translate as well to midfielders as well, I assume,
It
those
would,
on the
yes.
scale.
Yes.
Which is then why your blokes like under $1 million Tom
Tom Green.
is good, and also Finn Callahan if you wanted
Finsanity,
something different there.
Mm. Yeah, they'll finish well.
They should.
Yikes. Now, cash generation. Where are we at with that? Do we all, and this is probably the good thing about the buyers, with the 3 trades, you've probably bought into some guys where that's ticking over, which is not only the cash gen, but also that emergency, which we're still going to need them. They're still going to be there despite rolling lockouts and all that sort of stuff. You will probably need to do that
Yeah.
or have someone.
I haven't looked at the health of my bench, really. It's nothing to write home about.
Well, see, Cow, you've got Tom McCarthy on field though, don't you? So we've got a bit of Tom McCarthy action
Yes.
on the bench. I've got a Manny Liddy and a Zach Johnson sitting there, which now have some dollars on their heads as well in the midfield.
That's nice.
Archer May
Got Archer.
jumped on that,
yes.
so he's got some ticking over.
Yep.
That's about where I'm at. Do you have anyone different, V8?
I have Kai Loman and Sam Butler.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they've got
So
nice
some
money on
dollars
them.
Yeah,
their
they
head.
do. So one of them will go this week. Though.
So it might be this week that one of your trades might actually still be getting in a player. Everyone did the McCarthy one, so
Yeah.
he's up to 394. If you didn't have him, you're still doing it because it's a
He-
negative 38
He went up
break even.
100K.
Ridiculous.
That's
Who
huge.
did
Well,
that?
101 and
McCarthy.
95,
Did
Tom
he?
McCarthy.
Holy.
A
The
break
higher-
even of negative 38. Tom Lynch, a chance to get it.
You're probably looking at now, you've got 2 midfielders that are over 300, but Harry Roaston for the Giants.
I like him.
He's at 327. He's had 75 and 83 the last 2,
good.
so he's got a negative 22 break even. I think you're going him ahead of Manny Liddy, which you do need to spend 30 more K on now, but he's coming off a 74 and 61. He's got a negative 6 break even, so if you had to choose between them. Hugh Jackson, the old Wolverine, 311K as a midfielder.
Okay.
He went 62, then was up, then the 60. So solid, but he has had the sub in there, which is also a flag on that as well. So
Yes.
I think if you're ranking them, Roaston, Liddy, and then Jackson.
Fair.
Is that
Yep.
fair thing? The forwards, we did mention Jamay there before at 296K. He's got a negative 11 break even because he did kick a couple of snags and took 6 marks against Freo for his 74. But the Bombers have the Suns and the Tigers, and he stays in the team as well.
Yes.
So at under 300K, you could do that. Would you save the 50K and go with Jasper Olga? Alga? Have you worked that one out, Cal? There's
It's
your
Olga.
chocolate.
It's
Is it?
Olga.
He'll benefit with Lynch out, won't he?
So he
I
scored
haven't watched
60
him
last week.
closely.
Yeah, because it will be handy to have that forward bench guy.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Archer
somewhere.
May, he surprised me. He looked really good in that game.
Yeah.
And they
How
were
was he on the instep? Dermy's neck.
Now, Roy, I mean
slightly
that
off the instep.
I need to choose between those two. So do you think I just pay the
How
extra
much
money?
is it?
About 50.
50's
That's
a lot.
It is.
At this stage in the year, I'd go the cheaper
Without
guy.
needing them as such.
Well, that's it.
Just May looked good, and they were kicking it poorly, as you'd expect, and that's not going to change anytime soon. But he looked really good, but I'd save the 50K if I was you.
Yeah, okay.
Trade targets then. Who's high on the shopping list? I guess Thursday night, Roy, we get to hear your brilliant what is
Yes.
it called? Trade targets, top 5 trade targets.
Yeah.
I will have refined it by then. But I know people like a unique at this time of year, especially if they're trying to climb the ranks. Like something I hear people say is, well, why do you just match the people above you? That's no way to chase them down. But on the flip side of that, I also don't
Still
like
8 weeks to go.
chasing random uniques. Like, how are you going to pluck some random
Well,
guy
like to
that's
back
actually going to make any ground?
Back yourself as well of going, I want the player that I think is going to be the best.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that
So
sort
that's
of, yeah.
I always think like that as well. Now, combining the powers of those two thought processes, someone like Jai Caldwell at the moment, under 5% ownership, and he has those 2 games on the horizon. If you want to make a quick move, there's a unique kind of trade target.
And form's been outstanding too.
Very good.
Exactly right. So it's not just a random unique pick. It's a guy with form, fixture on his side, and that ownership is just an absolute bonus. Could climb you a couple of ranks.
I'm going to throw a name at you. Sam Flanders.
Oh, yeah.
I tick it off at this
So,
stage
yeah.
for that price.
What do you have in the end of
So a 90 and an 88.
Yep.
Finding plenty of the pill.
Yep. Significant role change.
Yep.
Despite CBA's maybe not backing that up.
Yep.
Where he's playing around the ground
he
is
just turns
resulting in
into
a
a-
lot more possessions.
Yeah, he just turns into a midfielder.
Yeah, it's like when Dunkley used to play off half forward
Yep.
and rack up 25, 30 touches a game. He just rolls to the stoppage and he plays us that extra mid. So he's racking up.
Yeah.
And he's a great target for that price.
So 679K. That is so cheap.
It's ridiculous.
He's down like 400 and something thousand.
Yeah.
So yes, you could do that. But
And
this,
he's got a nice game this week.
he does,
too.
and his price is now starting to go in
It
the
is.
upwards direction.
Yeah.
Break even 57.
Is Colby still cheap enough? 763.
Probably, yeah.
Form
I think
says
it
yes
is,
for a
yeah.
guy racking up 30 touches
Price
a
in
game.
the mid-70s
Yep.
for someone that...
So he's
Does
probably
he go 90 plus for the rest of the year?
Yes,
Well,
if the
he
role
probably
stays,
does.
he does. But he's also clogging up a defender spot.
Well,
You
yeah,
know what
there
I
is
mean?
that
Like-
as well. So that's the problem with Flanders as well. So with Flanders,
Still better than some of those midfielders.
Well, that's
if
it.
you were
Flanders
clogging up
would
that
be-
position.
look, I know it's only been 1 week, but a cash grab from Mills.
Oh, could you trade out Mills?
See, I can't because I got him in last week, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people did.
Yeah, but
It was
are
a
we
hard
old school.
Yeah, but we're bought into a hard matchup for Mills.
Yeah.
Now I know you don't get to play Richmond every week where he had his 110, but
But he's still good last week against Port Adelaide.
and he was.
And it was really, it was me backing in the player and the time on ground. I looked more at the time on ground
Yeah.
for Mills, thinking, is his body right? 90%. Yes, it is right. And I thought he would be better than what I saw on the weekend.
Yeah, same. So he gets one more for me.
Okay.
One more.
That's responsible coach.
Thank you.
Are you happy to go with Errol Goulden?
Yes, I would be.
It hasn't dropped enough yet.
That's
and
what
the
I
thing
think.
is, because he had that score, I had 71 in his first game back. Thought, oh yeah, drop down a bit, fella. And then
He said no deal.
a 124.
Yeah.
He goes and looked outstanding.
Well, that's his break even. Is that 124 now? So he's fairly priced.
Pretty much.
You just have to pay if you want Goulden.
So he's a guy in the preseason who I had number 1
Yes.
in the RR22.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, you could.
I think you could do it. There's another one. If you want a unique but you don't want to chase a random, Errol Goulden is not a random unit.
No.
He's a gun.
Or are you just saving that cash and going someone like a Tom Green?
Well, then there's that.
Under a mil.
He shouldn't be under a mil. Like, he's a player. He's $1 million man. Tom Green.
Yes.
Like even his last 4 there, the blip was a 78 against the Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's gone the 119, 109, 112. Couple of easier matchups, but he goes straight into the Eagles this week.
So he had a 121 earlier this year on the Eagles and a 120 last year against them. So it's another 120 coming up.
I like that.
Yeah,
There's still a play where you are.
Good run home.
And where did he sit in the rolling? Like he's just outside?
About 7 or 8.
Oh, so
He was
he's
in
in
it.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could
That's
feature
what you do then.
on Roy's weekly.
So we're obviously trying to
top trade
get,
targets.
we're trying to get people in the rolling.
Yeah.
Right, that's your goal. Am I right?
And you're getting someone
right.
like that under a mil.
Well,
Because realistically,
good perch.
the full rolling could be $1 million plus guys.
Yep.
It'd be close to it, wouldn't it?
It would be
If you
close
did the
to
maths,
it.
the forwards are where it might
If
struggle
you were
a little
just
bit.
if you want a poor man's roll on 22, you sort by things like price and average.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. But if you've got a guy that's got
Yes.
that's under a mil,
Yeah.
that's value.
100% it is.
That's what you want.
And you launch.
Yep.
Yep. That would be the smart way to go about it. All right, let's have a look at the most traded in players ahead of round 17, where we're back to our 2 trades per week.
Oh, no.
Wasn't it?
Yes.
A depressing place to be.
I know.
2.
2. We're back there. And the most traded in so far, Harry Roaston, the cash cow there. You're getting him at $327K. Archer May as well, nice and cheap. And just about Auger. Cow.
Yep.
3 rookies. Then it's Jai Caldwell and Errol Goulden.
There you go.
Good players to have. Think you've got the form of both of them,
Yes.
really. And I guess, some value if you want to look at that.
And they're both unique.
Yeah, the next one down on the list, though, that didn't make the graphic that goes up on afl.com.au was Tom Green, which
Yeah,
I think is
good
the
pick.
value player out of those guys.
Yeah.
Most traded out, though, Ned Long. See you later.
Yeah, I tick it off. I don't think I'll trade him out yet.
Finn O'Sullivan, Matt Roberts, who was pretty bad in
yes.
that game back off the bye there with a 45. Zach Johnson, Adam Chera also. Axe is being swung. Who's swinging axes? Who's saying goodbye? What are we doing with our 2 trades this week?
Well,
You go, Roy.
I'm going to go Zach Johnson, even though he's not fully fattened.
Yep.
I just need to keep making some money. So Hugh Jackman will be coming in, and Caleb Daniel is going to, drum roll please,
Oh, Roy.
Zach Merritt.
Are you doing it?
Roy.
Wowee.
Where's the excitement for me?
Oh,
it's Zach Merritt, boys.
Yeah.
And his value.
Give it up.
I'm not giving it up. My trades, I'm going Butler to Alga. Dog, what is it again?
The Richmond guy.
Yeah, the Richmond guy. And Doherty, Roy,
I beg your pardon.
will go to Max Holmes.
Wow.
I know, I'm sorry.
Holmes is good.
I'm
I'll
worried-
just leave it at that.
I just get worried about Doc.
Yeah. I'm with you, Cow. You've got me rattled.
Don't listen to me.
It's
doing it?
Doherty out to Jai Caldwell. That's a nice upgrade.
Yeah.
And that's being done via Cleary to the Richmond guy.
The Richmond guy.
Got a question for the traders? Tweet the boys at AFL Fantasy or head to facebook.com/AFL Fantasy official.
You guys are mad. How
What,
good do you
getting
think
rid
your
of
teams are? Have you seen what he's scoring?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm worried he's going to get
He's
subbed
shifted
out
to
at
the
any point.
wing.
Oh, I worry about things.
I don't...
Oh, I'm worried. What are you worried about? 90s, 130 2 weeks ago? Oh, no wonder you're worrying about it.
I'm just saying, Roy, I worry that he's going to get subbed out. All the traction of...
Get off social media. Get
It's a
off all the
Monday trade.
Sookie Colton fans. They're a horrendous bunch for the record, Carlton fans.
Are they?
Painful.
Yeah, okay.
And you're listening to them, the pair of you.
All right, I'll reconsider.
Thank you.
I'll reconsider.
Good idea.
I don't know who else I've got to go. I'm
So
so
do we
Your
not-
team that good.
Yeah, look at them.
Yours isn't.
Yours isn't that good. You can't get rid of Doherty.
You've just told us not to listen to Sookie Carlton fans.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for nearly 20 years.
I didn't say I like my circle.
All right, let's go into these. Wells has got this one. Hey, traders, I've got all my rookies off field, but still got a few underperforming players like Roberts, Sheldrick, and Simpkin. Would it be a play to field McCarthy over Roberts and cash grab 600K from Roberts? Yes.
Yeah, you
I'd
could
be
do that.
comfortable with doing that.
Yeah.
Because you can still play the traditional upgrade-downgrade game.
Yep.
I would be all in on that because then that could turn your Sheldrick or Simpkin into a bona fide premium.
Mm-hmm. An Uber.
An Uber.
Yep.
An Uber.
For sure.
An Uber.
So, all right, let's just put a bit of sensible thought into this. So,
Okay.
yes, it's very easy to sit here and say this on the back of his couple of good scores. All right? Are we actually happy to play him on the ground?
Yes, I think you can.
I think you can.
Yes.
You might as well in the scheme of this. Like if you're getting 45 from Roberts,
Yes.
you can cash grab.
Yeah.
I think you can, I think you can definitely do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might as well. Like that's the thing. Especially if that's turning your Sheldrick or Simpkins into someone that is a rolling 22
Yeah.
player.
What would be a fail? What would be a fail of an average? Like
From
or,
here
or
on?
a score?
From Roberts.
No,
From
McCarthy.
McCarthy.
Yeah. Because I can see there's been worlds
know.
we've done this before.
Yep.
Oh, cool. That's what he does. I expect big
Yep.
things from him now. I restructure around it with a big cash grab. And then what? He drops you a what is a fail? What
60.
What has all the
If
other...
you're getting a 70,
70's okay. Anything with anything under
obviously
that
defenders
is a fail.
is a harder position.
Yeah.
Because like as a forward, for example.
Yeah.
Look, he did it. He did a 95 against the Pies.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Red matchup.
Yeah. So I'm okay with it. He's the Messiah back there, Roy.
He
We've
is.
talked about this.
This is what I visualise with things like this. You do it.
Yeah.
And you launch into it with a bit of confidence. He's looked great and his role's great, takes kick-ins, yada, yada, yada. But then you do it and then the feedback you get from, like, what are they saying? How could you put that much faith into someone who's played 2 games?
Yep.
Yada, yada.
So he had 4 kick-ins against the Pies.
That
he
dropped.
He had 10
Yes.
against the Blues. So Duggan had the same amount against
Okay.
Collingwood. So he's still the main guy, I guess you could say.
Okay. All right. Because I'm considering...
Not doing it. You want to just
I'm
stick him to
considering-
bench.
Well, I don't know yet. I'm 50-50 on it.
Yep. I think you can do it.
Yeah, I think you can. Here's a question like from Hayden in this world. Fellas, Chera to Goulden. You happy to get rid of Chera?
So you want to give Chera another chance to
I
respond?
think I do.
Yeah.
And this says he'd still be playing McCarthy at M8.
Right.
Now, his other trade is going Campo to Roaston, and that leaves 68K in the bank. But you could be playing that loop game with Roaston and
Yeah.
McCarthy.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that even adds a whole another dimension to it, doesn't it?
Although that doesn't work this week because they play each other, don't they? West Coast and GWS.
Yes, they do.
So it doesn't help this week. Pat.
No, it doesn't. And do you know what? I feel like it doesn't help many weeks because how often does
timing and stuff,
the
yeah.
timing of it actually
Yep.
work out with the guy who you need to be the non-player? It just doesn't. It's not as easy as it sounds playing the looping game with people.
So can you get rid of Chera? So he's got 2 red matchups for midfielders in a row in Collingwood and Brisbane. Could you get rid of him, Roy, or are you happy to back him in based on the fact I think he had 5 tons leading into last week's tag?
I'm happy to back him in. He's
Yep.
better than that.
Yep.
He takes 5 marks a game. So I'm happy to back him in. The thing is, though, he has got himself to a very juicy price
Well, that's
where it
it.
is just such a small jump to...
A Goulden, like what he said.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Chera, I don't even have him under the blanket.
No, he's not.
Goulden's obviously in there. Look, I'll tick it off if the rest of your team is really good.
Like dogs.
Yeah.
Luke, best rookie downgrade option to get Ned Long to an Uber now, or can we start just picking up the 230k dead rubber players if you've got 4 cash-making rookies? I still want players that are playing.
We've still got a long time to go here.
We do.
And you can be using that cash to be fixing up these. It doesn't take much for one of those guys that you thought, oh, yeah, I'll stick with a Chera.
Yeah.
If Chera dropped you another 50, coin starts
He's
dropping.
gotta go.
You need the cash that goes up on top of him to make him the Goulden that you want.
Otherwise,
or
you've got Chera for the rest of the year.
If he's got 4 good money makers, I'm saying
you can
go right down.
Yep.
As long as they're named and hopefully avoiding a vest. I'm going right down there. Stuff it.
Yep.
Just milk all you can get at the moment. You're only really straight swapping from here.
Right, these names we've all talked about, but for DSV, Tom Green, Caldwell and Goulden. Who's got the easier run and can they be split? So the cash splits one thing.
It is.
You're getting Tom Green at the best value out of those guys.
Yep, that's a big tick.
The Bombers have those 2 nice games, but then Tom Green goes straight into a West Coast matchup that we just saw 137 from Nick Dacos.
Yes.
In. Different players, but still a
Tom Green
midfielder.
has the best run for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Essendon
And
have
value.
Yes.
Do you just go there? He's cheaper.
Yes, I think I'm going there.
You probably do.
Caldwell's higher in the rolling.
He is.
Goulden is too then.
Yes.
But for
I'm still going Tom.
60, 70k, 80k even.
I'm going Green.
Cheaper.
Yeah, go Green.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Good call. Good call. Who goes first? Who gets upgraded first for Fish here out of Lohman, Long, McKercher and Sheldrick? I'm ticking McKercher as a bit of a longer term keeper.
Yep.
Lohman, Long, Sheldrick. Is it very much the rookie in Lohman?
Yeah, we
Then
can't have
who
Lohman.
does the Ford go to?
We can't have Lohman on field.
If Lohman's on field,
No.
it's Lohman that goes for
Yes.
me.
Yeah, has to.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got to be
And I'd
fixed.
be probably trading Sheldrick over Long.
Yes, I would.
Yes, I would.
Yep. If that was a bit of an order there to put it. All right. Is there a world where we can downgrade one of our fake premiums like a Mills down to someone like Roaston to move McCarthy to D6? So we have been talking this.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
You've convinced me it's safe.
You can.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Messiah back there, Roy.
Yeah, and he did it.
If we had
against
our
the
time
reddest of
again,
red matchups.
if we had our time again, we just wouldn't have picked Mills.
No.
And yes, it's hindsight's easy when
I
you see
know.
a score of 67, but
got caught up
we
in
could
that.
have got away with trying to make some of those more meh players
Yeah,
into the premiums.
yeah. That's what we should have done.
And just roll.
especially because we'd seen that 100 from him,
Yeah.
and it was a great roll. But I still traded to get all rookies off the ground because I just thought second game Blues coming right up here, snap back to reality.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what the AFL's actually like. But no, not the case.
Johnny T is interesting here. High Legends. If Sheezel is named out this week, because they've got the Thursday night game, are we all trading?
What are you gonna
well,
do,
guys
Dom?
don't have- Well, I think I would. It's aggressive time, and that's
would
where
if
I
he
would
was
just
out.
go to the roll's not
No.
epic,
It's
and
not
it was
great.
on the weekend. But I would probably just go straight to like a Nick Martin, I think, is what I would
Yep.
do there. Because I don't want to upgrade to Nick Martin because it's a lot of coin, but at least from that it's a small jump, and
Yeah.
I'm just shuffling that.
And it's got to be an Uber premium if it's him out. You have
Yep.
to go to someone else really good. You would
Yep.
think.
Could you go him to a Whitfield?
What's our take on Witt?
It's
Because
an interesting one.
straight off concussion protocols, not everyone comes back
No,
humming after
but I don't
that.
think that's the massive issue for him in that. For me,
Have you spoken to him or is he
No,
feeling
yeah,
good? Or
had a bit of a chat.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, if he's fit to play, he's fit to play. I
Okay.
don't think the concussion's going to be.
He's got to break even 150,
Yeah, so he can wait, but he's got West Coast.
which isn't
isn't
a
as
great
easy,
matchup
yeah.
for defenders anyway.
Right.
So I don't think we need to be chasing. It's not like he's playing Richmond this week.
No.
So I'm a wait and see.
Play the sensible break-even game with Whitfield.
We'll just give him one more week. Make sure he's 100% to go. All that.
Yeah. The only problem is sometimes when you give up, you've got a week where you can actually get to them.
That's it.
Because he's value regardless.
Yep.
but he's going to get cheaper.
So
obviously.
he's 940 now with a break even of 150.
Yeah.
He'll be in the 8s. And that won't be much of an effort for like Colby up, bang.
Yeah.
That's an easy one to do.
Braden, Bonton, Sinclair, trade or keep?
Oh, yuck.
You just got to stick with them, don't you?
I think you do. Sinclair, who I spoke so highly
You
of
did.
a month ago, has done nothing but make me look like a fool, a bigger fool.
79-64. 79-64. And meanwhile, Nasiah is just going, move out of the way, mate.
Goodness me, he certainly is. He's just getting ignored, Sinclair.
Yep.
Could you trade him?
I'm going to say no. We're not trading Sinclair. Go back and have a look at what he has done. But
Why,
yeah,
isn't he?
Well, there you go.
It's
At,
like
at
he's
what point do you go, we've had enough, mates? Which is what Merritt did to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's why he had to go and potentially come back.
Well, that's the thing. So Sinclair, I don't know why it's happening. That's what I would really like to know.
Yep.
But surely if you trade him out, it'll bite you on the backside instantly.
It will.
Cameron, do you reckon Flanders is a viable option for Roberts? See, that's an easy trade. I'd make that one.
I'd do that
every
one.
day of the
Yeah.
week. Yep. And that gets Mills to Dunkley. Would you make that move on the back of that?
So this is someone that has known Dunkley. They don't know what the pain is like.
He was good last week.
He
the
was
week
See a
before.
bargain price and good form.
That's it.
Based on
Is
one
he
game.
someone that you could buy back into?
If I hadn't experienced the pain of the dunks and
Right.
saw him at that
He's a
price,
hard one, but we did it last year
yeah,
as well, and it was pain.
well, yeah, it was too.
926.
Finished with pain.
926 is what he's worth. Won't be any cheaper coming off that 124. But before that, 75, 81, 82, 93, 94. That's the pain I'm talking
Goodness.
about.
And Geelong are a nice matchup for mids
Yeah.
too. That's who he had that 120
He
against.
did, yep.
Oh, look, it's an upgrade from Mills.
It is.
I'll say that.
Yep, there you go.
Who would you get rid of out of Chera and Butters to get Holmesy?
Butters has
for
been
Jackson?
disappointing.
It's been very disappointing.
He
I
goes
think
first.
I feel like I'd back Butters over
Would
Chera,
you?
though. It's a
Oh,
weird one.
I know. You should. You should be saying that at the start of the season. Wouldn't even be close between those two.
He hasn't had a good ton for a while, and I'm talking a good ton over 110.
Butters hasn't, no.
No. So his last one there goes right back to round 7.
What do their scales look like?
For Butters,
Slimy.
I know Chera has 2 reds instantly.
yeah, and over the next 4 weeks, so does Butters. So they're very similar on the scale.
You got to back Butters over Chera, don't you?
You'd have to. Yeah, but
I'm not comfortable
I'm
at
not.
all saying it.
no. I'd find someone else.
Mm.
Yep. Go Tom Green or someone like that.
Mm. Ooh.
He's trading them out,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Oh, I thought he was getting someone in.
Getting rid of him.
Oh, all right. Get rid of
God.
Yeah, Cherry then. So
On top of it,
There's a lot
yeah.
of names getting thrown around.
that's it. I didn't know if they're in or out. Can't keep.
Dominic wants to know, anyone got a mop for this mess? Yep.
You could borrow yours, dog, couldn't he?
Lex, why? Just why? That's where we're at. This is where we're at. Interesting times for our trades. I think there's probably a bit to play out this week as well. Like the Sheezel one would be a super interesting. That's going to mix things up.
Yeah.
For any coaches there.
It's a dangerous time of year because
Yeah.
you are going to the pain you have felt already during the year is now going to be amplified by the fact that you trade out guys
Every
who are going
Monday.
100 on your head guaranteed.
Every Monday we
Every
will be
week.
doing the recount
Oh,
to see
worst time of
were
year.
we up or down on what our trades were.
See, and we should be up.
We should
We
be.
need
But I
to
bet
do
we won't
something
be.
different. We need to do something different.
Just keep trading out red dots off your bench just to get in rookies.
That's
At
the
least you're
thing.
positives
So
that
that we
way.
can tick that.
It is crazy. Now, if you've got questions, obviously we've got our social media stuff, but did you know on Spotify, there's comments on there now?
No.
So on this episode, if you're listening on Spotify, or even if you're not, go to your Spotify, and you can comment on there, and we'll answer those questions on Thursday night in our live stream.
Oh,
so,
cool. Yep.
yeah, that'll be cool.
That can be done.
Go on to that.
New feature.
Spotify. Kat, what do you use to listen? You don't listen to podcasts at all, do you?
No, only this one. Australia's favourite podcast.
Do you?
No, I don't. Do
Do you
do
use
podcasts?
Spotify?
Spot of what? Yes, I
You
do.
do?
Yeah, I got my little playlist and stuff.
Has that changed since
Cows mega hits.
1998?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't change a lot.
Well, I'm a bit guilty of that myself.
Yeah.
Just
There you
keep
go.
listening to your new metal. You'll get in trouble for having bad music taste.
Yep.
Anyway, thanks heaps for tuning in. Good luck for this round 17 that we're coming into. After this week, too, we get the next lot of DPPs. Not a lot there to write home about either, I don't reckon. So we'll see what that looks like. Anyway, round 17, weird round as well. Have a look at the fixture. Have you even looked at that, Cow?
Got it right in front of me.
Timing.
Yep.
We've got like 2 Friday night games.
We do.
A 7:20 game, then a 8:20 start. So a bit weird on that.
Nice and
And
early on
Saturday.
12:35.
And it all finishes up earlier on the Sunday too with the 3:15 start,
Correct.
which is that new time slot. Not 3:20.
No,
3:15. Just don't miss it all. Anyway, round 17. Good luck and
Happy trading.